I've missed one day since March 3rd of 2020, and it's changed my entire life. I've shared content for 2,029 days in a row, 2,030 now. I've sent over 25,000 DMs. I don't feel like this is a job to me to create content now. I just feel like it's just part of my day. It's like making the bed. It's like going for a walk. Had a baby at home. So I was like, I still have to generate revenue. Like, what the heck am I going to do? So I started posting on LinkedIn. And so I've like completely transitioned my mind to think like, this isn't something I have to do. This is something that I get to do.
All right. So we are live here with Darren McKee, who is the founder and CEO of Darren McKee Co. He is also the CEO, SDR, many things, wears many hats for 531 Social. And he's also the mentor of to me for LinkedIn and social selling. So very, very happy to have you on the live stream, Darren, and excited to get into it.
Yeah, excited to be here. Thanks for having me. I woke up ready and excited to have this conversation. So thanks for inviting me on. This is going to be really fun.
Awesome. So I have a lot of questions. We talked
Yeah.
a little bit about a few things while you were mentoring me, but let me just hear from you first. Can you give me a little bit of background of how you even got into LinkedIn of all platforms to be on
Yeah.
for social media?
So I don't know. I didn't grow up one of those kids that was like really heavily in. So I'm 36. For those listening, I didn't really social media. I don't know. I had like MySpace, right? Like something like that. That's all I really deep cared about at that point in time. And then not going to go way back into my background, but I think it's important to talk about like I started delivering pizzas, and then I got into the mailroom, and then became a recruiter, and then got into operations, and then started traveling with a salesperson. And I was like, oh, this is really cool. I think I'd be really good at sales, and had an opportunity to work for a company called Insperity here in Raleigh. And I wasn't creating content at that point in time. That was March 3rd of March of 2020, which was a very pivotal month for a lot of us with the pandemic and when all of that stuff happened. So I used to go to networking events. I would take my prospects to lunch and to dinner and to conferences and all those kind of fun things. And all of a sudden, like I couldn't do that anymore. Had a baby at home. So I was like, I still have to generate revenue. Like, what the heck am I going to do? So I started posting on LinkedIn. I just thought like it was just some resume place where people get hired and, where people find talent. And I think for like 6 months, like my brother liked my content, maybe somebody else in the office a couple of times, but like I didn't really see it as value. But I was like, all right, I'm just going to keep going because I need to generate revenue. And fast forward, I've missed one day since March 3rd of 2020, and it's changed my entire life. And more than one person likes the content now, which is great. But yeah, I mean, I think a global pandemic is what forced me into creating content.
Awesome. And I always hear too when you're on live streams, I don't know if you're able to disclose this, but you say that you missed one day
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
posting.
Yeah.
What was that one day, if I can ask?
Yeah, I was at the beach with my family, and I had this one moment in my mind where I was like, "Dang, does this place own me? Like, am I
Mm,
completely addicted to content?" And I was like, "I'm just not going to post today. I'm just going to stop and break the streak because I didn't want that thing to like win over me." And
yeah.
then I woke up the next morning and I was like, I didn't know if I was going to share again, right? I didn't know if like, is that it? Is that over? Am I going to like keep doing like one a week now? And I really missed it. And so I was like, nope, I'm gonna get back into it. So like, I don't feel like this is a job to me to create content now. I just feel like it's just part of my day. It's like making the bed. It's like going for
Mm,
a walk. It's a very, very big creative outlet for my mind. And so I've like completely transitioned my mind to think like, this isn't something I have to do. This is something that I get to do.
that's a good way to think about it too.
Yeah.
Because yeah, I see you posting every single day. Just right when I wake up in the morning, I also check my LinkedIn too, and I'm like,
Yeah.
Darren is like the first person to post. So I really like your posts, and they come like effortlessly. So and I also hear that like with LinkedIn specifically, you shouldn't be posting every single day, but you break those rules, and clearly it's worked for you for 140,000 followers. So what's the deal with like not posting every day? Should you post every day?
Yeah, I don't know. There's so many. The tough part about LinkedIn is that like there's so many rules out there, or there's so many like observations or perceptions on like what you should do. I might say things that this other really amazing sales LinkedIn social selling coach might say something that's completely different, right? They're not wrong.
Mm.
I'm not wrong. I'm just observing and feeling things differently than they do. I do tell my clients like 4 times a week is probably where I would encourage people to be. Posting every day, like it can be overwhelming. And what I don't want is for people to just end up quitting,
Mm-hmm.
which if you really peel back the layers of like when people say like LinkedIn doesn't want you posting every single day, it's probably because they don't want their users burnt out
Mm-hmm.
and not coming back. And so there's some data around like letting posts ride for 48 hours and they're coming back into the feed now and that kind of thing. But like my perception is I'm just going to throw a bunch of stuff out there and like if they keep going, they keep going. If not, then nobody cares, you know? So I don't know. I try not to get too deep into it. It's just part of my rhythm. It's part of my routine now.
Mm. And even with the part of getting burnt out too,
Yeah.
um, a lot of people and a lot of people that we've worked with too, they post like even myself included. I'm guilty of it too. But there's times where I've like posted 1 month, 2 months, and I'm like I'm just getting like 2 likes. Like it's my mom and then my best friend,
Yeah.
and I'm like this doesn't work. There's no point in LinkedIn. What would you have to say to somebody who has that mentality about LinkedIn?
Yeah. I mean, this is probably what people aren't going to want to hear if they're listening. But I tell people if they can't make it for 15 months, they shouldn't try at all. And you know, it's one of those. It takes time, right? Like we are in a time period and are a generation of humans that like want instant gratification. LinkedIn is not IG. You can't make one video and go, 9 million impressions on it, right? It's just not, or TikTok, right? It's just not what this place was designed to do. They personally, LinkedIn at HQ says that we like relevance over virality. And so they're really trying to make sure that like if you do go viral, it's like it's something that should go viral around your like ICP or your pain that you're solving, right? But I think that like you have to have a reason of why you're being here, right? So the
Mm.
first question I ask anybody when they're like, "Hey, I'm tired of creating content," I'm like, "Are you having fun?" And if they're not having fun, I'm like, all right, well, we got to have some fun. Like, what do you like to write about? Like, if you're talking about the same thing every single day and you're getting burned out, then you probably should stop doing that, right? And
Mm.
switch up your content strategy. Talk about things that you love. Like, you don't have to talk about work every single day.
Yeah, and when it comes to virality too, like because I'm from the Instagram and Facebook world, and that's kind of how I hit my I don't know, let's say fame in quotation marks. Use that
Yeah,
word very loosely,
yeah,
but so I knew like Instagram and Facebook, and there was a post that I did that got like 1 million views, and it got me like 40K followers just from that post.
yeah,
And then I went onto LinkedIn and then I was like, oh, I know LinkedIn. Like it's the same game. I already built my Instagram up. Like why do I need to learn a different strategy? And then I kept posting just with that mentality. One post did go like viral, I guess,
yeah,
but it wasn't the crux of I guess my success as well. Quote
yeah.
in quotation marks of LinkedIn. How much would you say it weighs between having a post go viral versus everything that's going on in the back end, including the DMs, the messaging, the
Yeah.
going out to see people as well?
I mean, it just depends on like what your purpose is.
Mm.
I mean, I can tell you that I've had posts at 9 million. I have one post at 9 million people.
Oh.
I've had many like over a million. And I don't know if any of those have generated. I mean, I'm sure they've generated some revenue, but like the 6,000 impression post with 32 comments and 90 likes are the ones that are generating the most revenue for me, right? Because it's like typically virality means like it's for everyone. And quite frankly, my offer just isn't for everyone. But yeah, I mean, I think comments probably, I don't know if I'll be saying this in 6 months from now, but comments right now are more important than content. I think that you're getting more impressions on your comments than you are on your content right now. And I mean, I think that's something that like will potentially change. We now are able to see sends and saves. So that's like how many times your post was sent to someone else or saved. And typically right now, as I'm able to like look at that, the ones that are saved more are getting more impressions, more engagement, more revenue for me. And then DMs is where like all of the revenue happens, right? Most individuals are pretty shy. They're not going to reach out and be like, hey, can I schedule a meeting with you? Like that happens every once in a while, but oftentimes people have to be prompted of like, hey, thanks so much for engaging with my content yesterday. I appreciate you. Is there anything I can do to help? And
Mm.
then they feel like they have the ability to say, actually, I think you could help me. Right.
Mm.
And I think that's something that like a lot of people don't think about as they're walking through this journey. I'm looking at my screen really quick to share.
Yeah.
So my name has appeared on LinkedIn in the last 7 days like I don't know, what are we at? 1,800 times the search appearances. All appearances is like 458,000. 47% of the places where my name has been seen have been from comments.
Whoa.
So that's a lot of like, if I were not to comment, that's 200,000 people that didn't see my name.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
crazy. Because I think that they go so by the wayside when you're commenting, because you're like the post is what brings people directly to my profile. That's how they see my personality. Like, was this a shift that recently happened with the comments, or was this also all the way back in 2020?
I mean, I've always said like from the very beginning that like
Mm-hmm.
LinkedIn was the only reciprocity driven platform on the planet. Like you're on other platforms way bigger than me on all other platforms. Like if you don't comment back to someone on IG,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter.
No.
Oh, same with YouTube. Reddit is a little bit different, but like this is the only place that's like. I mean, had that conversation with Ryan Serhant the other day, and he said that IG and TikTok and some other platforms are like you're at a coffee shop, right? We're talking about these social media platforms as they were coffee shops, and you walk in and somebody's got this amazing latte, but they walk up to you and they're like, "Oh my God, look at this latte! Isn't it so beautiful? Do you want some? It's so warm. I'd love to sell it to you." Right? Whereas LinkedIn is more like me walking in and saying, Jordan, what kind of latte are you drinking? That looks amazing. And then
Mm.
next week you come back and you sit and we talk. So it's very reciprocity oriented. Like you have to build relationships, you have to build community. And when you do that, like your content just like absolutely explodes.
Yeah, because I've even one of the things too that I wanted to mention at the start is that I posted that we were live on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn right now, and
Yeah.
even with yourself, I think that you're the one, the guest who has had like the most people coming to this live stream, and people actually like get excited about having you on. Like they actually know you personally. It looks like a lot of these guests. So what did it take for that to happen? How did you start engaging with people? Was it just sending out DMs? Was it sending out voice memos? Was there like one secret sauce for that?
Yeah, if it looks like I'm looking at my screen, it's because I am.
Sounds good.
But yesterday I wrote a post about this a little bit, and I think that like everybody just thinks like this is easy, right?
Mm,
And I was called lucky in a post the other day, like, oh, he's just lucky, and it really like it just irked me, and I don't really get irked very much. But listen, I mean, I've shared content for 2,029 days in a row, 2,030 now. I've sent over 25,000 DMs and I've shared more than 5,000 comments. I don't like, and I respond to 80% of the comments that are on all of my content, right? Like I was fishing yesterday, so I didn't get to do that on the other ones. But like, I have always been the type of person that's like, hey, could I shortcut this stuff? Could I hire an EA? Could I hire an agent? Could I get some tools to like do all of this for me? Absolutely, for sure. But like at the end of the day, if I meet you in person in Atlanta, I want to make sure that like I've actually been the person that you've been talking to,
yeah.
right? And so for me, it's just like I've tried to just give as much as humanly possible. I've probably lost a shit ton of revenue by doing that, but like at the end of the day, I have a mission to make people and their families more money and to buy cool things that they want to do and to have more fun and to be who they were designed to be and to lean into their strengths. And quite frankly, if somebody doesn't pay me for that and that happens to them, whatever, it's just it's part of my journey.
And this kind of goes to show the lack of burnout that you have now at like 1,400, many followers. It just goes to show like how you're actually finding this fun as opposed to a job, as opposed to a chore
Yeah,
you have to
yeah, for
do.
sure. It's I do. I wake up every morning and I'm like, this is amazing. Right. I had a conversation with somebody last night, which is like they're a global speaker around the world. And I was just like, I don't know. I freaking love waking up. And I like, this is so much fun for me. Like I got a text the other day that's like that from a founder that was like, hey, we were going to go out and raise a fundraising round because we needed cash, but now we don't have to do that because of what you've been coaching me on. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. I just saved you probably 400 grand, like that's just so awesome to me.
That's amazing. And one of the things that kind of baffled me, you talked about it a bit, was the fact that a lot of times we think that again it's only virality, and that's what I was doing for like 7 months because I'm like, oh, my posts are going viral, but I'm not getting like the leads that I want. So I'm like I'm doubling down, tripling down on it. And then what it really spun things for me was when you were like, well, like have you engaged with the comments? Have you like
Yeah.
DM people? have you like sent video messages or voice messages? And I'm like, oh no. And
Yeah.
then like,
Yeah.
well,
It's funny. I had a conversation yesterday with somebody, two founders, and the comment was from one of their clients that they were supporting in kind of a similar environment that me and you operate in, and
mhm,
they were like, "Hey, they're not getting any leads. They're not closing any business with their content. They're getting like a lot of engagement, by the way." And I was like, "Man, everybody just thinks that stuff's supposed to be given to them."
mm,
Like, I'm not getting this. I'm not getting leads. I'm not getting meetings. I'm not getting revenue. It's like, did you go get it? That's what I went back, right? And I'm like, do you realize that people spend hundreds of thousands of dollars every year on intent data, right? So think a company like a Sixth Sense or something that shows intent data on websites or traffic or whatever that thing is. Meanwhile, we're not even looking at our profile views.
mm,
We're not even messaging those people that liked our content. We're not even telling people thanks for coming by, right? Like that's like I think we can learn a lot if we really like zoom out and look at how retail operates, right? Like if you leave
mm,
something in your cart, you get a abandoned cart notice when you a week later, hey, did you want to buy that? Here's a 10% off coupon.
mm,
Meanwhile, people come to our content. We don't even tell them thanks or like go like send them something later. And it's quite frankly, the bar of being a human is insanely low right now. And
mm.
nobody wants to work hard to get big things.
I wanted to touch on that too as well because I wanted to get into the cold outbound, but I'm like, let me find a delicate way to get into this. So one of them goes a little bit off script, but
Yeah, let's
it's
go.
it's because you mentioned this as well of like the dehumanizing factor
Yeah.
as well. And this is my theory, so you give me your input on this.
Yeah.
That I feel like, in my opinion, I feel like we're dehumanizing so much just with AI, and then everything is being bombarded with like you can automate this and you can automate this. And I think that what you mentioned to me one time when you were coaching was that the bar is so low for human connection that
Yeah.
I think we're like automating the life out of so much. And I sent like a video DM, which we will get to in a second. But I
Yeah.
sent a video DM, and I think I'm pretty awkward like in front of cameras,
You're great.
but I appreciate it. I paid Darren to say that. uh, but I think it was a really awkward DM that I sent, and then they just replied. They're like, "Wow, there's actually humans on this platform," and I'm
Yeah.
like, "Really? Like that's how low the bar is?" So I'm wondering, with the wave of AI, do you kind of see the bar lowering significantly for the human connection, and do you think it's going to kind of be a pendulum switch?
I mean, listen, I think the ship has sailed a little bit here. Like, I
Mm,
mean, my kids are learning AI and they're 8, right?
mm,
So, like, I think it's part of our lives now moving forward. But we're starting to see, I saw a post this morning from somebody that leads go to market for a very, very large organization, and they're decoupling all of their AI tools because utilization is so incredibly low. And so I think we saw like a massive like, all right, we're gonna buy 14 tools, we're gonna automate everything, we're gonna scale, go go go. And now we're realizing that like that actually doesn't generate revenue as much. And I think it's a hard pill to swallow, to be honest, because we thought it was going to like revolutionize sales and like there was going to be no more AEs and no more SDRs and all of these kind of things. And quite frankly, one of the largest sales organizations from a startup perspective last week said that like, they're moving back to full cycle AEs. So AEs that prospect, AEs that close,
mm.
AEs that do all of the things, right? Like the human AE. And I think we're going to see a lot more individuals doing that. But I mean, I think it's interesting. Like I think about this from a human perspective a lot. I was talking to my wife last night, who I credit for like all of my success, but like she plays tennis, and she was going to buy one of those the ball shooter things, so she could practice, right? And I was like, "Did you buy that thing?" And she was like, "No, I didn't buy that thing because I think that would stop me from texting friends to come play." And I was like, wow, that's very interesting. And I think that that's what's happening in sales. We're losing that touch, we're losing that human touch. Like, we're going to send a webinar instead of all going to dinner together. Why aren't we going to dinner together? Like, right? Like, we should be going to dinner together. And so just interesting things that I'm thinking about, as we embark on this new way, right? I mean, listen, I built an AI tool based around my company now. So I'm fully like, we have to take advantage of this moment, but like I still think it's important for us to hang out with people and do human type things.
Mm. I like it too because at least also with 531 social or
Yeah.
with your tool, I find it at least that it's AI is good. My theory, AI is good, but it's good for like researching and pulling out information. But there always has to still be that like that human connection in the loop, and I think that that's what 531 does. It's like, hey, did you do this and this human connection, and it
Yeah.
lets you do that. But a lot of times I see that even when we're like pitching a product to clients, they're like, the more AI tools that you have and the more AI tools that you show that you're implementing, the more that they'll like be impressed and they'll be like, wow, yeah, we need to pay more for that service, when sometimes
Yeah.
it's like not necessarily. Maybe you just like automate too much.
Yeah, I mean, if you're good at both, you're worth an ungodly amount of money right now. So I think that that's the part that like I'm trying to push people like be great. Like Dewan Brown, who is a mentor of mine, has really challenged me in this area around like, hey, be really great at community, be really great at being a human, but also be really really great at being a robot. And if you can do both of those things, which is really really difficult, and I think it's kind of a unicorn of a human, your future is insanely bright.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
So it's a good combination of both. All right. So the next thing was to, in terms of balancing large audiences. So,
yeah.
of course, like I mentioned, you definitely have a massive audience. And how do you, well, let me just keep it broad with this question. How do you keep track of everybody?
I don't. I'm not an organized person. Okay, so like I am in certain areas of my life. This is one area where I'm not. Like I got asked the other day, like, what CRM do you use? And I was like, I have HubSpot, but like I don't use it hardly ever. So I don't really keep tabs on people per se. I have worked with a coach. His name's Scott Moore. He changed my entire life back in 2020, 2021, 2022, and he helped me learn how to thrive in chaos. He was an executive coach. I was also a pilot in the military. And he just realized, he was like, hey, man, listen, like the way that your brain operates, you kind of create a mess. And I need to teach you how to thrive in that mess. And so I've gotten to the point now where like I time block my life away. So like because if I don't time block in my calendar, I don't do anything. I literally will like not do anything all day long. I'll like go have coffee. I'll go, hunting. I'll go for a walk. I just won't get anything done. So ever since that time working with him, like I've got a 2 hour block in the morning for prospecting. I've got a 2 hour block for follow-ups. I've got a 2 hour block for admin every single day. And as long as I do that, I can make sure that I'm like, all right, cool. What am I missing? Right? Oh gosh, I forgot to send that invoice, right? Like whatever that thing is, I can typically remember that, but I don't have a system, unfortunately.
Yeah. Each person's mind works differently. But
Yeah. Yeah. If you were to give me a bunch of systems and you were to tell me like this is how I have to operate, I would probably clam up internally, and not do anything again. So it's like I've worked with sales leaders that have been like, all right, you've got to update this, you got to update this, you got to do this. I'm like, I'm not doing that. I'm closing deals. And some of them hated me, and some of them liked it, some of them didn't care.
yeah, I was gonna say, I think I heard you on a different podcast saying that one of your sales leader before was like, he was like, you have to have like a certain organization, and then but you were closing like, I think you were doing like 120% of like the
Yeah,
quota.
for sure. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I just love when people tell me that I'm not going to be successful. It's like one of my favorite things in the world. Like, I mean, when I was doing social selling in LinkedIn at this organization, is this thing going to work here? Like, chief learning officers and heads of organizational development and CHROs don't create content on LinkedIn,
Mm.
which was the most bizarre thing I'd ever heard in my life. And I just proved all of them wrong. And it's been really cool to like see them now embrace that fully. And, but yeah, I mean, I think, sales leaders will sales lead.
So I want to go into that as well.
Yeah.
That in terms of the people that are on LinkedIn too, is there somebody who's like you would say specifically should be on LinkedIn, and people who you're like your client is definitely not going to be on LinkedIn?
It's a great question. I'll tell you that, like, I'll just walk through some of the things. I think, like, of course, your founders, your B2B SaaS, your MarTech, your FinTech, your all of those type of people, like, should 100% construction tech, they should all be on the platform. I used to get a lot of pushback around, like, these people aren't going to be here. So, like, example, property managers. I used to say, they're probably not here. They're all here, right? Like I can go into Sales Nav right now, and I'll do it in a minute. But there's probably 30,000 property managers that have shared content in the last 30 days. Just coached a company that does tree services. So think real estate development people, and when they put a building in and they got to relocate a bunch of stuff, like they're all here. Physicians, the doctors are getting clients now via DMs when people move into town, right? So large organization moves into town, nobody has a dentist, that dentist outbounds these people that are coming into town, they all of a sudden have 19 new clients, right? Like this is happening very, very heavily. My post tomorrow is going to be about pressure washing. So I partner with a pressure washing company here locally in town via LinkedIn. Like they are getting business from LinkedIn now. So services on LinkedIn is going to be the thing that like if I were to put my stamp on like where LinkedIn's gonna go in the next 3 years, services businesses and CPG and lifestyle are gonna take over the platform.
Really? Like what you said, like dentists and doctors, those seem to me at least to be more like B2C sales.
Yeah. I
And
mean, B2C is thriving on LinkedIn right now. Like
really,
absolutely crushing. I mean, my business is
yeah.
B2C.
Oh, that's true. That's a good point.
Yeah. So, right. But like you're selling a widget, you're selling a service, you're selling a timeshare, you're selling a vacation, you're a travel agent. I've coached so many travel agents that are just dominating the platform right now. Real
Yeah.
estate agents killing it.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can parse down and you can say, hey, I need every CEO in Florida that has 5,000 employees and above and DM them about houses that are coming up in their market. Like that is a
Mm.
cheat code.
Yeah, because I would also say that your business works because it's B2C for people looking for stuff on
Right.
LinkedIn. So it
Yeah.
still has that like LinkedIn variable in it. But it's like for a real estate agent, for instance, how would you it's difficult to pitch like somebody who's looking for a new house in like let's say Atlanta.
Is it though? Can you imagine if you moved to Atlanta, you just relocated, right? And you just landed in Atlanta, or
Yeah.
your company is being relocated to Atlanta, and a real estate agent just managed their way into your DMs, and we're like, "Hey, Jordan, I know you're leaving Toronto, and you had this amount of square footage there. I have a house in Druid Hills that looks very, very similar, a little bit bigger, half the price. Would love the opportunity. Can I send you a video later to show you around via LinkedIn? No agents are
Mm.
reaching out to them that way. And so it's getting to the point now where like it's easy to go down that road.
And this is also too because one of the most exciting parts for me, and maybe where I want to spend the most time from this live,
Yeah.
is with the DMs. That
Yeah.
I think you've started to crack the code with DMs, and you as well. You must get like so many DMs in your inbox, and so many CEOs get DMs in their inbox. Even I get them, and I'm gonna be honest with you. Sometimes they just like irritate me of how poorly they're done. When people just like, I know that you mass blasted this DM to like 100 other people before me, and you just copy and pasted and changed my name. And you do a very, very different strategy with the DMs, like you just mentioned. Clearly, they're doing a lot of research that I live in Toronto, that I'm moving to Atlanta. How important is the specificity in the
Very.
DMs, the format of how you send the DMs on LinkedIn?
Yeah, it's so important. I mean, I think like I feel bad for some of the people that like do some of the things that you talked about earlier. Like we're gonna send 100 DMs every single day. It's like okay, well, like they're obviously being told that by somebody that's like really terrible at their job. So it's like I don't. It's never their fault, right? That they have a job, they have to do that job, and it is what it is, right? I think format is really important for me, right? So I walk through the 5-3-1 process a lot, which is 5 companies every day, 3 buyers inside of those 5 companies, and then 1 action to all 3 of those people inside of those 5 companies. Now, post that, you get connected to 6 out of 10 of them, right? You're sending that video DM. I only send like 3 or 4 or 5 a day, right? It's not, I'm not going to send 100 of these every single day, but the format is really important. Like I walk outside every single time, I grab my phone and I send them, I don't know, a 45 to 2 minute video. And it is deeply tailored to that individual because if they're on my target customer list, like I should know enough to be hired by them. Right. That's what I think about. Like, do I know how they make money? Do I know what products they have? Do I know what's happening in the last couple of weeks where they've read their 10K, read their earnings call? Like have they just raised funding? Who are their investors? Right. Like all of these things, like I should know. And so I walk outside and I'm like, Jordan, thanks so much for connecting with me. I appreciate it. I know you probably see my title. I am in sales, but I promise this will be a really good message for you to get. I've been doing a lot of research on the business, and so much so that I uncovered and found this one thing that I think we could really help at. If you don't want to talk to me, you can talk to Sarah, who leads a company down the street who we've actually been working with for the last 90 days. I would love the opportunity to introduce you both. I'll take myself out of the process, but I just wanted to help make sure that you knew that I was here, and I look forward to seeing your content. Also, I hope you had fun at the beach last week. Cheers. Right? Because she posted a picture of the beach, right? That was a minute. I send those all day, every day of my life. And that's what generates the most meetings for me. And I'll call out something specific, like saw something in the earnings call, or, congrats on the new hire, Mary, whatever, something.
I think this is also very important too, is being outside. I think you mentioned at the very beginning.
Yeah.
Why taking a walk rather than being inside of an office?
Yeah. So going back to the whole AI thing, me and you both know that like we can pop up that account on our screen right here. I can look at sales IQ, I can look at account IQ, I can look at like 15 different things and see everything about this organization right here. And so if I'm sitting here, it's like, hey, Jordan, they think I'm reading something. When I'm walking outside, they think, wow, this person's really good at their job and they actually know about our business. They're not reading some script. And so I think also it shows them that you're busy and that like you're doing this in between things that you're I send a lot from the airport, like a ton when I'm waiting in line in the airport, when I'm going through security, like I'm sending these videos walking down the street from client site to client site. And I always say that like, hey, I'm in between meetings, just wrapped up at Blackstone, heading to KPMG. Wanted to make sure I got this out. I don't have time to do it later because we're going to dinner with 15 CHROs. Right. Like, and then they're like, hold on, this person just met with Blackstone, KPMG, and is going to eat with 15 CHROs tonight. I got to talk to this person. Right. And so that's very, very important.
And even just for the awkward introverts out there, has it ever been awkward for you to just walk outside and take the video with people watching?
For sure. Yeah. I actually do. This is probably not what people want to hear, but like I actually do care about what people think about me. Like it's a negative. I don't know, it's positive or negative. I don't really know. I care. Like when somebody makes fun of me in a comment, which happens every day, I still read them and I'm like, oh, that was icky and felt bad. Like, did I do something wrong? Like, oh my God, like what's happened? And then I have to realize that those people are just like sad humans, and it is what it is. But like, I'll be honest with you, I have recorded probably 500 videos walking around the streets of New York. And I've never had anyone, not one person, even like look my way or think about me at all. Nobody cares about you. And I think when I realized that, like, and if they were to come up to me and say like, what are you doing? It's just like, I'm trying to book a meeting with like somebody I've been going after forever, and just like have fun with it. But yeah, I mean, I'm not an introvert, so it's hard for me to understand how to help someone overcome that.
I've been doing a few of them too in this park here. And I know that this park is like isolated, not like too isolated that it's shady, but like isolated enough that only like 2 people walk by every 20 minutes and say something. But it's the same thing that what you said too. It's like, I don't know, like man's got to eat. So
For sure.
I don't know how else to.
What do I say? Like maybe the best way to do it, like if you are an introvert and you're like, I don't want to do this, like do it from the car.
Car ones work well too, by the way.
Car ones work well. Just don't drive while you do it. Like, and the cool part about it is like, I've got 2 car seats in the back. Like if they're a parent, they probably see that, right? Like there's just things that like hit different whenever you get out of this stupid office.
Yeah, absolutely. And even you mentioned too that I know that there's times where like maybe available for your services. You also mentioned that you reference other people as well if there's something that you can't do. How important is that?
Yeah, very important. I mean, I think I do it from a referral perspective or a testimonial perspective more so, right? Like oftentimes people will reach out and I'll reach out and I'll say, I know that they're connected to one of my clients. And I'm like, actually, I just worked with Jordan. Why don't you call her? Ask her how the relationship was, how it went, right? Because it's the moment that you can take yourself out of, and I'm going to get some backlash on this if anybody watches this, but the moment that you take yourself out of the sales process and you insert a current customer is the moment that your deal accelerates, right? I can't stand when I work with an organization and they do reference calls after the proposal. Reference calls should be after the first call. And so it's interesting. Why are we waiting all the way this far to do a reference check on right? So it's like put them in that conversation, and then they're like, "How do you work with Darren? This is how we work with Darren." And all of a sudden, they were thinking about a $30K deal. Well, this company just bought $480K. right?
Yeah.
And then they accelerate the deal for you. So reference calls should be early, and I even mention it in the first message, right? Like if you want to talk to somebody that I'm already working with, go for it. Totally fine.
Two other things that one thing that came up when you said this too, and I wanted to keep going back to the DMs, but was that if you've ever had anybody that has come up and been like, "Hey, Darren, so like if we do this coaching, like, what's the ROI, or like, can I, like you said, can I get references?" Uh,
Yeah.
do you think that like showing the exact ROI is better, or showing the references is better, or how would you deal with that?
Yeah, I mean, I've had that ROI conversation like my whole life of sales,
Yeah.
and I'll say I was at an event in Memphis, Tennessee in 2023, 2022 maybe, and we were talking about ROI of coaching,
Mhm.
and a CHRO, a very large insurance company, just butted themselves into the conversation, and they were like, "Hey, all this ROI talk is absolute garbage," and I was like, what we're I was just about to share like our whole entire calculation, right? Like turnover, impact, succession. And they were like, it's coaching's just the right thing to do for your people. Like stop trying to like ROIify this thing. Like it's just the right thing. We know it works. It's been around for centuries. Like it's just the
Mm.
right thing to do for your people. And so typically when I walk through ROI, I'm like, I'm not going to give you an ROI, right? Like if you want to go look at 150 testimonials at the bottom of my page, go do that. But in reality, like this is going to work if you work. If you don't
Mm.
do what I tell you to do, it's probably not going to work. And a lot of times people won't like that. Sometimes people will like that. Some people want to know, like, all right, how many meetings am I going to book per week? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if your product's any good. I don't know if you're any good. I don't know if you're going to do what I tell you to do. And so for me, it's just really difficult to put a mark on it. But I can always say you'll make way more than you pay me.
Because this also, and now to loop it back to the DMs, that even since I've been, for those of you watching, there are a few people watching. Since I've
Yeah,
been doing Darren's DM method, I have like the meetings that I've been able to book have been insane. And I was under the impression, as well as many people are, that cold outbound is dead. And I'm like, there's no way. I'm just like annoying people. What are your opinions on cold outbound, and what do you have to say to people who think cold outbound is dead?
I think the term is skewed a little bit. I
Mm.
love cold outbound. I think it's my favorite thing in the world. I don't think I think of cold outbound the way most people think of cold outbound, though. Like, I'm not just going to pick up the phone and call 150 people,
Mm.
or I'm not just going to send 500 random emails. They've already seen my name somewhere. I've already engaged with their content. I've already clicked on their profile. I've been at conferences that they're at. I've been in their communities comments, right? Like I'm not cold, but listen, like I think that the word cold calling has been around for a very, very, very long time. And the reason being is because it works. And if you sell a low ticket item, you don't have time to do what we do. Like you can't send 5 video DMs if your product is $72 a month. And just not you're never going to make any money. So you have to do those things. So I think there's a time and a place for it. But like copy and paste, templated, automated garbage, like go kick rocks.
Yeah. And at least I found that even with the people who maybe were not a right fit to work with them at the moment,
Yeah,
the great thing is that at least I haven't annoyed them. That at least they're the people, they say, hey, this was a nice personalized message. Not right now, but we'll keep you in mind. And they start engaging also with my
for
comments
sure.
as well, which I'd much rather prefer that than them just like blocking me, or just like annoying them so much. So this is why I was like always so worried about doing cold outbound with LinkedIn,
Yeah.
because I was worried that people would just like blacklist me, or like I would annoy them. And yeah, I just was like, no, it's dead. You're gonna burn through your entire TAM, and it's just gonna be a mess.
Yeah.
So
I mean, the reality is like most of the time they don't see it anyway. So like, I mean, it's my way is so different than others, but I've also always sold large ACV deals, and I haven't ever sold like quick, $8 per employee per month type things. So
mhm,
I think it's totally different for those peeps.
fair. Now with the follow-ups is also my thing of like, people tell me I add value with follow-ups, but I'm like, there's only so many follow-ups that I can do till I'm annoying somebody. So what's your strategy, and what's your perspective on doing follow-ups?
Yeah, I mean, my strategy is I'm gonna follow up until you die or I die. I mean, I don't care if that's 20 times or 50 times or 140 times. I'm gonna like. So typically, I send that video DM, and then the very next day, I send them an audio or a text one. Hey, just making sure you watch that video. That's actually me, right? That's the very next day, and then I wait for a week. And then I'll probably send them something really relevant, not checking in, not following up, but more like, hey, saw you guys are hiring for this role. I'm actually going to look through my network really quick to see if I know anybody that'd be a great fit. Cool. They don't respond. Now I'm monthly. Okay. So
Yeah.
one day, second day, 5 days, monthly. And I'll do that forever. So, I mean, largest deal I've ever closed in my career was after 27 follow ups.
That's crazy. I think you showed us that one too. You sent the video over, and then
Yeah. It was like 16 months.
that's that's crazy. And people would just give up probably like at the maybe at the third touch.
I think the average rep gives up at like 7.
7 follow-ups,
Which
7 touch.
seven's a lot. I don't actually think that stat's wrong, but yeah, I mean, I'll follow up for a long time.
Yeah. And also I just want to add this part too, that I think that the key point is also listening to when they what they say too. Because I've had people follow up with me and I've told them I'm just like, I'm not interested. But thanks. I appreciate it because salespeople one salesperson to another. And then they just send me another message it's like, so this is our new deal. And if you want to come into the subscription service. And I'm like, I think it was just like an automated message that was sent out. And I don't think that they really read the previous message that I sent them. Even if somebody says no, that they're not interested, how would you approach that?
Oh, if they say no, they're not interested, I normally just like, I don't say why. I
Yeah,
normally just like,
please.
totally fine. I know, like, if you ever need anything, I'm here. I still engage with their content because I still want to make sure that they see my content. So that's the way the algorithm works, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, I engage with you, you see my stuff in your feed. That's how it all works. Now, 6 months later, they probably have a need. If I were
Mm,
to pester them every single month, like, hey, is the timing right? Like, hey, I know you said no, but we've got this new offer. Like, shut up. Like, get away from me. But like, I mean, what I don't know the exact. It's somewhere between 60 and 75%. I get the two percentages mixed up. Forrester says that like 67% of the decision is already made before they ever talk to a human. So
yeah,
like they're already vetting these things. That's why content's so important,
yeah. And you can do so much research as well beforehand
for
too.
sure.
One of them was just touching base at the very beginning too, in terms of the content, because we see a lot of times that we're like text works, videos work. What works? What works on LinkedIn?
I think what works is to always be testing. So, because whenever you finally find something that works, it's going to change. And so I really want to make sure that's why I'm such an advocate of people doing multiple different forms of content. And it's so interesting. I had never heard this said this way, and it blew my mind the other day on a panel. I was sitting next to a social studies teacher that is now a content creator on IG, and she was talking about IG, I was talking about LinkedIn, and we were talking about different forms of content, what works, right? Same question you just asked. And she started first, and she was like, you have to share multiple different things, right? You have to share pictures, you have to share multiple pictures, you have to share short form, you have to share long form, you have to share a video, you have to share a poll, you have to share a GIF, whatever the heck they're called. You got to do all of these things. And someone in the audience was like, "Why?" And she was like, "Well, it's no different than fifth grade." And I was like, "Okay, say more." And she was like, "Every student has a different way of learning." And if you only share videos, you're only going to impact 2 of the 30 of your students. And if you only share long form content, you're only going to get the other 4 students. And so the only way to teach someone or to teach an entire world a certain thing is to appealing to everyone with your mode of content. You can talk about the same thing, but you have to share it in a different way. And so that's something that, like, if you look at my content, I've been trying to do like very aggressively over the last 3 weeks: video, short form, long form, multiple pictures, one picture, no picture, like poll, like trying to really just make sure and if you look at the audience, wildly different people in all of those.
Nice. Do
Yeah.
you ever think that it's gonna expand farther than LinkedIn? Like you're gonna start doing that on Instagram and Facebook, or
Oh
what
no,
is?
I can't even think about those other platforms. I just share hunting pictures on all of it. Yeah.
No,
My
40 years
family.
down the line.
No way. No, can't do it. Maybe one day, but probably not. I got bullied off of TikTok, so
Oh yeah. I got
Yeah.
kicked out of TikTok, so we're
Okay.
kindred spirits.
Yeah.
So the final thing to wrap everything up, I ask this to every guest that comes on, and it's basically if you were back at being 25, what one piece of advice would you give your 25-year-old self?
What would I give myself at 25? What was I doing at 25? I was married for 3 years, and I think I was about to have a baby. I would tell a 25-year-old, my 25-year-old self, to make sure that you don't stay in a certain location for more than 2 years for the next 10 years. And that means living. I'm not talking about working. So that is moving to multiple different parts of the country to really expand your community, expand your audience, expand your mind. Because I think when you're stuck in the same city for your whole life, it's really difficult to break out of certain things that you were built on.
Ooh, that's a good one. I did not expect that one, to be honest.
We moved like 10 times, so it was something that I would never change.
Wow, that's awesome. Because I'm Toronto bound. I'm doing Toronto bound for years now. So I'm like, maybe time to change it up a bit.
Maybe.
Atlanta, here I come, Peach City.
It would probably go somewhere else. I love Atlanta, but I was there for 2 years and we left. So if that tells you
Yeah.
anything, yeah,
All right. Well, I'll come to the States. I got a Russian roulette at what
I
state?
love it. Awesome. Well, thanks
But
for having me. This was wonderful. You do a really good job hosting these, and always here for you.
appreciate it, Darren. And anywhere people can find you,
Oh, just LinkedIn. Yeah, you can find me there.
Darren McKee. All right. Well, thank you so much, Darren, and looking forward to chatting soon.
See ya. Bye.
Take care.